All right, Bruce, I'll have you. Oops. Now the hell with the countdown. How you doing, folks? This is Attorney Omar Serrano with the Tilted Lawyer podcast. And I got a lot to talk about, and I don't got time to wait for a countdown. And so Lauren's got to leave. I got her for about 20 minutes. I have in my hands a 191-page bar complaint that was lodged against David Gingras back in June of this year. Why is that significant? There's been other bar complaints against Gingras, and nothing has really happened. This one is significant because it appears that the state bar is forcing him to prepare a written response. Why is that significant? Because the person, and I don't know who lodged this complaint, it's been completely redacted. I have no idea who it is. I won't be revealing that on this show, nor is there any identifying information on the documents that I'm going to go over. But it's significant insofar as if David fails to respond, then it's pretty much guaranteed that the state bar is going to take action against him. It's like the same thing as somebody files a lawsuit against you, and you have to respond. If you don't respond, then you lose by default. So he's going to file a response. And the person who filed the complaint is going to get a copy of that response no matter what happens. So what is the complaint about? I mean, it's a lot of the same old songs, man. I mean, David Gingras, I've been talking about him for, I don't know, since about May is when I learned about this case, maybe April, when I got notice from the Clayton Eckert Justice for Clayton people to contact David Neal. And then I did. And then I, did podcast and commented on the trial. Lauren set up a live feed in the courtroom during the trial, and very famously went up there and did all of those things. And so after the fact, it's also pretty famously known at this point that David Gingras and Laura Owens got their ass kicked ceremoniously in every conceivable way, but for a few procedural hiccups. And Gingras has been sore about it ever since. And he's been going on these tirades. And even before that, he was saying stuff in the thumbnail. That was pre-trial. That was stuff that he was saying regularly to people on his Twitter feed, to people in Dave Neal's community, to people in the YouTube stratosphere who had anything to say negative about Laura Owens. He's been doing this for a long time. And then I had openly wondered, how is he an attorney like saying all of this stuff? Like, does he have like no concern about what the state bar is going to do to him? I would never conduct myself in such a way. Matter of fact, as a lawyer, you should know better. And what's up, Dominic? I added him to the stage and he got mad at me. He went right back. He's like, he wants to stay in his shell.
So hypothetically, if he doesn't respond to this, like what actions could the bar take, or what actions could the bar take in any case?
Well, I will outline that because they actually have a list of 5 things. But what typically happens is you can be disbarred in an extreme case. You can be suspended for a period of time. You can be forced to take ethics courses. You could be forced to do a lot of things. You could be sanctioned monetarily. But if you don't respond to the state bar, that is the licensing body of the state of Arizona. They license you. They control your ability to practice. And so whenever you get a notice from the state bar, no matter what it is, every attorney, their heart skips a little bit because it's like, oh, what is this shit? It's like, oh, they're just trying to sell me insurance, but every now and then you'll get a notice that, hey, so-and-so has filed a complaint against you. And if you don't respond to them in writing, and it usually happens like this. I've seen attorneys where they've gotten complaints, multiple complaints all at the same time because they just stopped practicing and left their clients just flapping in the wind, letting their cases just not showing up to hearings, letting their cases go into default, losing their clients all kinds of money. And then you get like 5, 10, 12 bar complaints all at the same time. And then the attorney's like, F it, I'm out. And so they'll be, all right, well, then you are no longer eligible to practice law in the state of California. Jermaine Down says, do these scorched earth style attorneys eventually get knocked down a peg, or do they usually get away with it? Well, that's the thing. I don't know very many scorched earth attorneys. Most attorneys that still want to practice law are very careful not to say more than is required. Now, look, when I'm in front of the judge, when I'm in the courtroom with the other party and I'm making my arguments, all bets are off. But to me, everybody in the back, everybody in the gallery is invisible to me. They don't matter. I don't address them. I don't care what their comments are. I've literally, when I was a young attorney, I remember like making arguments of motions as a defense attorney. And like, there was like multiple DAs like snickering at, and making their little side-eye comments. You have to learn how to block out all of this stuff. You have to have a real thick skin as an attorney if you're going to survive. And if you ever acknowledge it and go scorched earth, there is disciplinary repercussions for that, which is what I've always feared for Gingras. Now, look, this may be a whole lot of nothing, or it might be the beginning of the end for his 20-plus career in law, which I think would be an extreme. I don't personally think it's going to go that way. If you ask what I think is going to happen, I think he's going to get strongly admonished. I don't know if a suspension is forthcoming, but let's go over the heart of this complaint. How do I share my screen here? All right, so that's the letter from the state bar, and this one is F. All right, let me pull up. I pulled up the wrong thing.
Dominic, Dominic, where are you?
All right, it was the one that had my name on it. Okay, so all right, here it is. This is a huge PDF. Now, a lot of it, the meat of it, is really just a lot of exhibits from text messages and blog posts and things. There's an initial page. I want to make sure they don't have any identifying stuff on here. This was a June 26, 2024 letter to the state bar. I'm going to share my screen, and it should be this one. Yes. All right, so here it is, folks. I'm going to make this as big as I can. How's that looking? That's fine. All right, so it starts off like this. This was received Wednesday, June 26th of 2024. Subject is David Gingras. There's some attachments, and in it, there is the final judgment in the Laura Owens trial. There's a bunch of other stuff. So it says, thank you for your email response. Did I skip some stuff? Yeah, this is page 3. So this is, I guess, their second email. Where was the first one? So I guess they must have sent some email prior to this. They responded to, and it says, thank you for your email response. I'm writing to provide a detailed background regarding my complaint and the imperative need to safeguard my identity. In October 2023, I became aware of the legal case Eckerd v. Owens. Following David Gingras' appointment as attorney for Owens, there has been a noticeable increase in aggressive actions against content creators. This includes spreading derogatory content on various social media platforms and writing offensive blog posts. Furthermore, Mr. Gingras has threatened litigation against those who support Eckerd in this legal dispute, derogatorily labeling us as the Justice for Clayton Collective due to our exposure of his client's alleged perjury, fraud, and medical fraud, and closes Judge Mata's definitive ruling on the case. Despite the judgment, there has been no legal action on the aforementioned charges against Owens. The ongoing harassment and the looming threat of lawsuits are deeply concerning to me. Moreover, Mr. Gingras' behavior intensified during the trial on June 10th. He arranged for an excessive security detail, including a bomb squad, drug-sniffing dogs, and a police escort for himself and his client at the courthouse. Not the least of which was Laura Owens' phone call to the police on June 11th for an Instagram post with those three folks. And, they thought that was worthy of a phone call. Anyway, a witness who had been subpoenaed and consistently approved by Judge Mata was subjected to Mr. Gingras' disturbing actions. I think they're talking about Double M, aren't they?
It's gotta be Mike,
yeah. He made an unwarranted 911 call during which he followed the witness and disclosed personal information to the operator. Such behavior was not only inappropriate, but also indicative of the trial's charged atmosphere. Therefore, I request that my identity be sealed due to threats against me, myself, and others, which were a significant part of Clayton Echard's defense and instrumental in obtaining a favorable court ruling for Echard. My greatest fear is the harassment he may perpetrate online, and I wouldn't put anything past him. I will attach video of Gingras and Woodnick, and they proceed with the rest of it. So the rest of this is just attachments. This is the judgment from Judge Mata that has been thoroughly dissected by virtually everybody that's covered this case. After this, they get into some other stuff. Obviously, I have not read all 191 pages of this because it is quite voluminous. Now, there are these blog posts, which they're a little difficult to read, but I'm assuming what these were supposed to be is examples of blogs that David had wrote on his blog page.
That's correct.
So it starts off, here's an example. These people, not naming names, are generally blogging or hosting YouTube videos. Lauren, I just heard you talk about Gingras and his propensity for criticizing YouTubers.
Yeah.
So he's still doing that apparently, but this is way back when. So hosting YouTube videos every day to talk about the case, but they are not really talking about the case, not even close. They don't explain all the facts and they don't give both sides of the story like any real journalist would. And I gotta say, man, if anything, the people on the internet, if I'm not mistaken, were on Laura Owens' side to begin. Am I mistaken in that? I feel like Dave Neal has said numerous times that at first he thought that Clayton Echard was the asshole in all of this until he started getting all, more details and, finding more revelations of more lies by Laura Owens and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So this is not factually correct, but this is a thing that Gingras does. He's a manipulator of words, and he's not even very good at it, to be honest with you.
No.
But he does this kind of a thing. And
yeah. In the very early days, Dave and Reality Steve were both totally open to examining any and all evidence from both sides.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, they don't give a shit about this case, and they don't give a shit about the people involved or the truth. They're nothing but mosquitoes sucking their meager livings out of the First Amendment I fought so hard to protect. I feel like this guy fancies himself a creative writer.
That's just funny, like saying that when all the things that he's said and done about how people should shut up and all this crap. Like,
yeah, he can't help himself, man. He's just he's the troll who can be trolled himself and better and more fiercely. But anyway, so these human leeches are selling half-truths and twisting shit way out of perspective in order to increase the drama, so much drama, and thereby get a few more pennies of Google AdSense revenue. And I don't even think that you get, is it technically Google AdSense revenue for YouTubers?
I guess.
Yeah, if you had to have a monetized video.
Yeah.
And a few super chat bucks to pay for breadsticks. Hey, but some of these YouTubers are paying for a lot of breadsticks, though, It honestly makes me puke. F these sick, selfish, lying a-holes. Should I clarify how I feel? These vile scum. I mean, people are not helping anything. They are human cockroaches spreading feces on the floor and then spinning the facts to make them more dramatic than they really are in the hopes this will drive traffic and increase revenue for their sad, pathetic lives. I feel like that was a diatribe that belongs in some kind of 80s Miami Vice monologue. One day, these trash humans will wake up and realize that lying for money is not a good way to live, or maybe they will never see their sins. Either way, I look forward to reading their obituaries briefly before throwing them in the trash where they belong. So I got to say, legally, there's nothing wrong with this blog post. There's nothing. If this was like an isolated thing, it would have been forgotten about long ago. And I think
from an attorney.
Well, I'm not saying that I would condone such a thing. I'm not saying that I would ever write such a thing. I'm just saying if this was like the extent of it, like, oh, maybe the guy was having a bad day. Maybe he was like in the midst of prayer and he's like 0.23 from his dirty margaritas and just went on like he was writing in his journal, but happened to accidentally send it on a blog and didn't know he did that and just stuck on there.
How many margaritas does this man have?
Well, I mean, gosh, a margarita. Are we having singles or doubles? Let's say he's 3 doubles in. That'll get him to probably 0.17. How tall is he, man? He's got to be what 5'8"?
Doubles? I wouldn't be able to write.
Really?
I'm a cheap date.
Yeah, well, 3 doubles, that's enough to probably get me to 0.13 on a good day, on an empty stomach. So I'd imagine Gingras is what, 5'8"? He looks about 5'8", 5'9", maybe 5'10", maybe 170. That'll get him there. So the rest of this is like there's a, oh, this is cropped out. These are his Twitter posts. I'm trying to turn my head sideways. As special needs mom. Oh, he's talking about special needs mom.
Got a guest appearance from Mrs. Brightside there.
Oh, is she in the chat?
Oh, she's in the chat, but I'm saying she's in the complaint too.
Yeah, she's in the complaint. As a special needs mom makes me absolutely sick. He's revolting. I can't wait to see his sorry ass lose in court. And his response, also, just so I understand, you are a special needs mom who was attacking a guy you have never met on social media. My crime, I defend a law that allows people to, among other things, attack people they have never met on social media. This dialogue, it belongs on like Jesus Christ Superstar. He's like such a dramatic writer, man. I feel like you could turn this into a musical.
Well, at the end, he says, I concur, you do have special needs. And this is all in response to a blog post where he said, you know, I understand you people don't understand the law as well as me because maybe you have special needs, or, you know, he just said something. He just said something terrible in a blog post.
This is my beef with Gingras. I don't personally care for the guy. I tried to speak with him once, and the way that he responded to me told me everything I needed to know about the guy.
Yeah.
And Starcasm, oh, thank you so much for the 50. Pam is like my ace moderator. She's like the big boss in the chat. She says, may there be breadstick money, chat smash, and the thumbs up to support the channel for free. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Pam. You're amazing. I was about to go on a rant about Gingras. So there was a point in time where I had reached out to him. I genuinely wanted to get his opinion about this case and have him talk about some of the accusations against his client, Laura Owens. And his response to me was just like condescending and insulting to my intelligence. And my mama told me a long time ago that I shall not suffer fools. And I just wasn't about to give him that kind of an audience. Like, F this guy. He wrote out some like responses. I went over them on a show. And then that was it. Pardon me, guys. I have to cough.
Oh, he has to leave the room to cough. Holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Let's hope it's nothing serious.
All right, I'm better.
I hope so.
So I gave him, that opportunity to speak with him, and just the way that he responded to me was just so off-putting. I didn't bother with it anymore because I just knew he wasn't going to give me any honest answers. In the course of learning about this case and seeing some of the billing statements from Woodnick when they were submitting their invoice for attorney fees and the things that he was aware of regarding Laura Owens' mental health and her potential mental health issues, I feel like he's been exploiting Laura Owens for a long time now on this case. Excuse me. And to me, as an attorney, and she's had how many attorneys has she had in this case?
At least 3, right? No, 4.
She's had 4 attorneys.
On this one? Yeah.
For the family court paternity case, I think it's at least 4. If you look at like all of her cases for the last 10 years plus, like Murderman's is saying we're like at 15 at least.
Yeah.
Folks, give me 30 seconds.
And my dog is barking too.
I can hear one dog. I don't know if it's yours or his.
That's my dog.
Butter's at my mom's house, so
Gotta let him in a minute. But yeah, I mean, on this Clayton case, right? We had there was the lady who was there for a hot minute.
I forgot her name already.
Order of protection. We've had Lexi and Corey and
I remember Lexi
David
and Corey.
Gingras.
Yeah, there was one in between them that like never made it to even doing a filing. I
Yeah.
think.
So I think she's at least at 4 on the family court case.
And thanks, Medusa, for the 5. Yeah, so she's had at least 4 attorneys. All of
Yeah.
those attorneys have withdrawn, I suspect, because they weren't going to allow Laura to make certain arguments. They recognized that she was going down a dead end with her legal case. They recognized that she was putting herself in harm's way in the form of sanctions. They didn't, the facts that were being unveiled were not matching her story, and they weren't letting her just get away with it. So here comes this guy, Gingras, and he's willing to listen to Laura Owens, and he's willing to put her story out there, and he's willing to spin words in the way that he spun them, and he's willing to defend her. And look, if he was just taking on this case for the sake of he's got to litigate the sanctions issue, then fine. Everybody has their clients. Everybody has to represent their clients and advocate for them. That's fine. But to extend it out the way that he has, to the point where like he's going on these rants in public on Twitter, on X or whatever, on his blog, and calling out these people and threatening defamation and throwing these tantrums and making it look like we are all, all of us are the ones that are crazy. Laura Owens is perfectly, in the right, and there was nothing wrong with what she did.
He's always saying like people are obsessed, and I'm like, dude, like surely you have other things to do. Like you're a practicing attorney, like you're the one here tweeting at like a bunch of random people right now and like calling people scum and like saying you can't wait for their obituaries. So like who's obsessed really? Like I don't know how much time this guy spends thinking about this, but it seems like a lot.
Part of the problem is he claims he's doing PR and he's her attorney. So Omar, is it very common for lawyers to also do PR for their clients?
No, it's not, because our PR is pretty simple. Don't say shit unless I say shit. And I'm not going to say anything, so that should direct you. Matter of fact, whenever in my non-public cases, whenever my clients want to say anything or to anybody about their case, I tell them just put it all out on a text and then send it to me. And I will edit it, get it out of your system, say whatever you want to say. And that most of the time when they do that, they don't even want me to, they're done. They got out of their system. Yeah. That's really the role of an attorney, is to prevent their client from saying stupid shit. It is certainly not to jump on the internet and start saying stupid things yourself and threatening people yourself, all in this grandiose show of whatever to your client, in the hopes that you might get her parents to cough up another 50 to 100 grand to file an appeal that he knows good and well isn't going anywhere. So look, I know that Lauren, you've come on this show before, and I've heard you say before that you thought that Laura Owens is not mentally ill so much as she is.
She's mentally ill and she's crazy as hell. She's just not clinically insane.
Well, not maybe clinically insane. You said she was manipulative and
for sure.
trying to make herself look like the victim.
100%.
And I defer to you on that, but I believe that she has a mental illness. And sometimes, like 4 other attorneys before Gingras, 3 or 4, whatever the number was, they have recognized the inherent deficiencies in Laura and said, F that, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because it comes to the point, look, I know what you want me to say. I can't in good conscience let you do that. I'm not going to be part of it, so I'm out. You try to talk some sense into your client, and most of the time it works, but sometimes you get these clients that they're just going to do it anyway, then fine. You're just going to have to do it without me. That's why that other attorney writes this duty of candor, which at the time when he wrote that, I was like, that's extremely unusual for an attorney to do that in the midst of a case, because when they're out, they're usually out. But he probably was finding out stuff that he didn't realize was a thing, and realizing, holy shit, I argued for this, and not knowing that these other things existed. And he felt compelled to cover his ass and make sure that the state bar recognized that he wasn't trying to be deceitful, which speaks volumes. Let me continue. Let me see if there's anything more. And look, there's like 191 pages of this. I'm on page 27. Here's one blog post. Having done this myself many times, I can tell you, if Laura sues the JFC crew for defamation, oh, I love this one. It would be an absolute bloodbath. To use the metaphorical term like Trump did, not literally, unless folks like Dave Neal have a really, 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 really good explanation for every defamatory thing they have said about Laura. And by the way, Dave Neal does, because he hasn't said anything defamatory, and everything that he said has been based on truth that's readily available out in the public stratosphere of the internet. My prediction is that by this time next year, Laura's horses will be enjoying some new grazing land out in Tennessee once the Neal family has been evicted from their home after losing a multi-million defamation case in federal court. So this is coming from, and this is his MO. He likes to belittle people when he talks. And Dave Neal is about as straight up a stand-up guy as you could possibly get. He's been completely 100% above board in everything that he's done related to this case. He hasn't said any defamatory statements that as far as I can tell, that's publicly out there that could even be labeled defamatory.
Right.
I've seen Gingras go after Woodnick because he's not a named attorney in any published cases in the case law that is used in the state that he practices. And then he wants to go back and, I have this one case from, what was it, like 2011? That was like this public thing or whatever. And he went on, I think it was Dr. Phil once, and he keeps on going back to that. But he also has like these DUIs. He's also been disciplined by the state bar in the past. He also has some blots on his record that most attorneys don't have because they don't behave the same as him. And if I'm grading his work as a practicing attorney, and I were to just evaluate his practice ability in terms of his writing ability, he's really, really bad at it. He's a good writer, but he writes as if he like really wanted to get a PhD in English, and his mommy talked him into being a lawyer.
Yeah.
And so he uses this flowery, what am I trying to say? Flowery language that belongs in musicals or 80s sitcoms and 80s monologues.
Overly descriptive.
And he puts it in his legal arguments where they have no place whatsoever. And they make him just look like a clown. Not to mention, he backs up his arguments with case law that has nothing to do with the jurisdiction where he's practicing, which is to say that's pretty much professional negligence on his part. That could be sanctionable under certain circumstances. And he throws these tantrums. He can't control himself, man.
The other thing I notice is that he will make a prediction, and as if it's already true, like because of XYZ, because of Rule 26, the judge will have to deny this motion.
Well, and then he misunderstands the law,
and then it turns out he's wrong.
Yeah, he's been wrong. He's been wrong on every juncture. The one thing he got right was that Judge Mata's ruling on his latest motion was premature, which it was.
Yeah.
But that was it. That was an easy one. That's like any paralegal could have ferreted that one out. But every legal argument that he made in the Owens case, every motion that he filed was frivolous because it was on its face just legally wrong.
Yeah.
And so either he has a fundamental misunderstanding of the case law, which I just don't believe that he does, or, he's used to not being held to account for these frivolous motions that he files. And he talks like this, conclusory, that he uses conclusory language to bully people into submission, which in this instance had the opposite effect, because I really feel like he started a whole movement just with his behavior. Like, I feel like this case was one thing before he got involved, and then he gets involved, and then it just exploded.
That's correct. I mean, if you just look at the Woodnick billing records, they sort of expand quite a bit once he joins the case, because they have to deal with all of his
by the way, if you are employed as a public relations person, would pretty much be evidence of your inability to hold that position, because it's supposed to be the opposite. You're supposed to make the story go away, not explode into the point where you have your clients posting her own blog post about how she's having feelings of self-harm and those kinds of things. There's more of these kinds of examples. If you can't, and these are all in the complaint lodged with the bar, by the way, if you can't tell, this sort of thing is why I believe when this case is over, Laura should absolutely have every single member of the JFC crew into court, put them in front of a jury, and ask them to explain themselves. It's funny he mentions that, because I want to share with you guys this other thing. This letter from the state bar. I got to stop that one and share this one. Okay. So this is in response to the thing that was sent to this person that filed a complaint. We received your correspondence regarding possible ethical impropriety by the above named lawyer. Now, understand that when I'm reading this, a lot of this is boilerplate. This is literally a boilerplate response to everybody that they submit, and then they just switch out names and whatnot. But it's significant for one sentence in here, and I'll go over it. I will investigate your allegations. We have assigned a file number to this matter. Please use it on future communications with this office. I forwarded a copy of your correspondence to the lawyer with a request that a prompt written response be submitted. Now, that part of it is huge because it means it's going to require David, just like he was saying over here, that every person of the JFC crew should be put in front of a jury and asked to explain themselves. Well, he now has to explain himself to the bar for his conduct. Absent unusual circumstances, I will send you a copy of the lawyer's response. An investigator may contact you for additional information and input, which they probably, I don't know, they may or may not. But like I said, if he doesn't respond, then he's going to lose by default. And they list a number of different things that could happen as a result. At the conclusion of the preliminary investigation, which is where they're at, I will summarize the case and present it for review by all bar counsel. If after this review, we determine that no ethical violation can be proven by clear and convincing evidence, we will dismiss the charge and notify you. You are entitled to appeal a bar counsel's dismissal decision. We will refer all recommendations other than dismissal or diversion to the attorney discipline probable cause committee, who may issue one of the following orders: a stay of the proceedings, meaning they got to get more information, an admonition, a public warning of conduct and behavior, I guess, probation, diversion, or filing of a formal complaint. So it's important to know that he hasn't been charged with anything at this point. This is akin to somebody lodged a complaint. The state bar licensing agency is doing their investigation. Part of their investigation is they want a complaint. They want a written explanation from Gingras. And if he doesn't give it, then they likely are going to file charges. Or if he gives his response, they're going to send a copy to this person, and they're going to do one of these 5 things. We will notify you in writing of our recommendations and provide you the opportunity to object in writing if you disagree. The rules of the Supreme Court of Arizona govern lawyer ethics and disciplinary procedures. The state bar is bound by those rules in deciding whether a lawyer has committed an ethical violation and whether the violation can be sanctioned for that violation. You as a complainant are not a party to the disciplinary proceedings. The state bar does not represent you and cannot assist, blah, blah, blah. So that is the gist. At this point, your charge is not open to the public. However, the state bar may confirm to anyone inquiring that we have received a charge against the above named lawyer and are investigating it. When the state bar completes its investigation and decides whether to pursue formal charges, then your submissions, the lawyer's submissions, and perhaps other documents in the file may become open to the public. Anything you send to this office becomes property, and they just keep on going over all of those things. And then they have this warning: the state bar receives more than 2,000 charges against lawyers every year. We cannot thoroughly consider each one without your patience and full cooperation. But what is unique about this one? What's unique about this one is that there's been multiple complaints now lodged against Gingras, all for the same thing. And so either they're going to chalk it up as we've already dealt with this, and as far as we're concerned, it's been dealt with and his behavior has changed, and so we're going to leave it alone, or there's been further evidence that he's not really taking it serious and we're going to now charge him with something. And so that's where we're at. As far as the rest of the documents, it's a whole lot of this extra stuff. I mean, there's blog posts in here. There is pictures. This is him at court. I guess they're referring to when he called 911. Oh, this is the first email to the bar. I suppose I should read that too. So in recent developments, this is the initial letter or email to the state bar that kicked off this entire thing. So in recent developments, attorney David Gingras has been vocal about the legal proceedings involving his client, Laura Owens, on June 20th, 2024. He expressed Owens' profound dismay and sense of betrayal by the judicial system, particularly in response to Judge Mata's handling of the case. Gingras took formal action by submitting a request for Judge Mata's removal on the grounds of alleged judicial misconduct. Earlier on June 10th, Gingras publicly criticized the limited time allocated for the trial, labeling the 2-hour duration as grossly insufficient, which, by the way, I agree with him on that.
I believe the words he used were fucking bullshit, but yeah.
Oh, that's fair, I guess. The functional equivalent. For a thorough examination of the facts, he also voiced criticism of the opposing legal team's strategy, accusing them of cluttering the case with extraneous information. Whatever, they had 2 hours to do it. They put on their 2 hours, you put on yours. Fair, right? So these statements highlight the contentious atmosphere surrounding the trial and reflect Gingras's assertive advocacy for his client. Gingras made a statement to the press about the judge and the case. There's more stuff here. Thank you for reading my response. I'm writing to provide a detailed background regarding my complaint. I think this is the same thing I already read. And it was just somehow attached here. What is this? Laura Owens, attorney, responds to ruling. Oh, I wish I knew how to like rotate this. Oh, that's all right.
Laura Owens, the war is not over. Yeah.
Yeah, says he believes she was pregnant. No, I'm not going to even try. There's more stuff here. Oh, what is this? Oh, is this the stuff? Did I already read this one? I feel like I already read this one.
Yeah, we saw it up there.
Obituaries. Yeah, having done this many times. Oh, the bloodbath thing and the posts like these are disturbing. And they're just basically documenting every single stupid thing that he's written on his blogs, that he shared on Twitter, and the like. Let me see if I can scroll through more of this to see if there's anything interesting. So, what is this here? Oh, he's talking. This is just more from his blog.
This is his blog.
It's wild that there's this much stuff from his blogs that is finding its way in here.
Yeah.
But it all, I mean, creates a pattern of his behavior and the way that he's conducting himself verbally and in writing in these matters. This is not like any, gosh, Bruce, to your point earlier, man, this is so unlike anything that I've ever seen any attorney and how they've discussed cases that they're actively working on. It's just wild to me. Yeah, more stuff, more pictures. Shannon, thanks for this. You just got here. What happened? Well, Shannon, if you didn't know, this is I'm going over a 191-page bar complaint that was sent to me anonymously by a person that has filed a bar complaint against David Gingras for his conduct with the JFC community. And I shared a letter that the state bar has issued, basically indicating that David is going to be forced to give a written response for his actions. And so this story's not over. I'd imagine no matter what happens, you're going to be able to, somebody is going to get a copy of Gingras's written response out there, and it's going to be made for public consumption, I'd imagine, unless something weird happens, some kind of gag order, I don't know. But for right now, that's where we're at. And what I'm going through is all of the evidence that was attached to this complaint. And it's just basically like, it reads like a journal of all the things that have happened since Gingras got involved in this case. And it's 191 pages long. I'm literally on page 47. I've been scrolling for how long now? About 38 minutes. This is him with Mike, or Laura with Mike.
The interesting thing about how Gingras posted photos of Mike is that this was after he was threatening Mike that, hey, if you come as a witness, we're going to arrest you. And then he starts posting photos of Mike. And so to me, it's very intimidating behavior.
Well, it's intimidating and it's defamatory. To me, this blog is more defamatory to Mike Maricini than anything the JFC community has done with respect to the Owens case.
Oh, wow.
He writes, while Laura and Mike may have looked like a happy couple on the outside, according to Laura, Mike had a very dark and abusive side. Now, that's not a defamatory statement because Laura said that. But in the same vein, everybody from the JFC community has done the same thing, according to what we know, then X, Y, and Z. In her declaration filed back in 2018, Laura described the verbal abuse she received from Mike on the flight back from Iceland. This abuse was witnessed by a fellow passenger who later confirmed Laura's version of what occurred. Now he cites these pleadings and this extended blog post. All of this is, I gotta imagine this is probably already on the JFC website or the Reddits somewhere.
Well, it is now, but the interesting thing is some of this deposition text and some of these other photos and things, they're out there because he posted them.
Right.
They weren't out there because they were there before.
And I guess my big question to all of that is, how much of this should have been shared and was shared by him illegally? That's a question that I have that I don't know. Amanda, thank you so much for the 2. I assume this is why he's been so quiet recently. I've heard that he's not been quiet. Lauren, has he been quiet?
Not totally quiet. No, not totally quiet. More quiet, I would agree. Yes, more quiet.
Depends on the day.
Quieter.
I heard that he just threw a tantrum on Twitter recently.
Yeah, but that's like that's more quiet than quieter than usual.
But they even brought up in the June 10th hearing, number 1, he posted Dr. Dean's report, which was not public, and he posted part of Clayton's video deposition, which was not public before the hearing.
Well, he sent me stuff about depositions involving Eckert. I mean, it was stuff that was already out there. It was nothing, exclusive or anything. So this document discusses a complaint against David Gingras for unethical behavior and violation of professional conduct rules, and then they outline those rules. Gingras is accused of tampering with a witness and interfering with judicial proceedings. Does that sound like the Gingras we know? The complaint alleges Gingras violated rules of professional conduct. He's also accused of violating rules regarding sealing and unsealing court records. That was specifically what I was alluding to just a minute ago.
Yeah.
The document questions the ethics of allowing a client to post threats of self-harm. It highlights rules regarding client capacity, diligence, and conflicts of interest. Releasing sealed documents without court permission is considered a serious ethical misconduct. Unauthorized release of sealed documents could be seen as a breach of confidentiality and contempt of court. The document mentions potential disciplinary actions by the Arizona State Bar for professional misconduct. It provides examples of Gingras releasing sealed photos, medical records, and videos on social media. So it's all stuff that he's done before.
Yeah.
So under full, give me 1 second, folks. I gotta get the door.
Who's coming to the party?
Oh boy, what do you think about this so far, Lauren?
I mean, it all makes sense. It's just like seeing it all in one place. It's kind of almost a little overwhelming, to be honest. I'm just like, so I have like a thought about something, and then all of a sudden 3 more things. There's like 3 other things that he's done that are huge, and I'm just like, oh my god, scatterbrain. You know what I mean? So, but I could have sworn like one of the depots, and this is like very early on, I think when he had first emailed Omar, he had like sent him something and said like, don't post this or don't share this or whatever. And Omar will have to tell us what it was. I think it was the depot videos, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, it was the depot videos. He sent me, well, Laura, to be fair, it wasn't him. It was Laura that sent me deposition stuff.
That actually makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But then he was aware of those things. Like they were emailing back and forth. I don't know, but Laura was the one that sent me the deposition stuff. All right, so what is this document? State of Arizona, County of Maricopa, under full confidentiality. I would like to stay anonymous since David Gingras is threatening to sue. I'm writing to formally submit a complaint against David Gingras, a member of the Arizona State Bar, for what I believe to be unethical behavior in violation of rules of professional conduct. What is the date of this? I'm looking for a date.
Of the complaint, or did you say June 24th or something at the top? I think.
Yeah, was it June 20 something? 28 or it was definitely after June 10th.
Okay. It says, despite the dismissal of the case against Gingras by the Supreme Court, Gingras continues to violate Arizona professional rules of conduct. On March 26, 2024, David Gingras began his representation. Gingras began his misconduct on his blog, Gingras Law Office PLLC, violating the Arizona Rule 5.4 of civil procedure. David Gingras uses his blog to release sealed documents, intimidate witnesses, and disclose protected parties' contact information. Gingras states on his blog and in court proceedings, if a witness comes forward on June 10th, 2024, he will be leaving in handcuffs. He did say that, which I think I'm pretty sure I said at the time, isn't that like the definition of witness intimidation?
Yeah.
Because literally he was threatening a subpoenaed witness with leaving in handcuffs for an issue that had already been litigated, which Judge Mata had alluded to when she shot down his oral motion that morning on June 10th.
Right.
Which led me to believe, like, what is that? Am I missing something? Like, is there something else? I just didn't understand what he was doing. Star with 5. Thank you so much. Omar, Just Jen sent you a DM on Discord with Dave Neal's bar complaint. Let me take a look at that. All right. So Dave Neal's bar complaint, it didn't really go very far, but this one is a matter of public record now. Where'd it go? Here it is. Yeah, Dave Neal's. Oh, his is 108 pages long. Yeah, maybe I'll get to that a little bit later. I'm still going through this one. I know that Dave Neal.
It's probably a lot of the same blog post.
Yeah, which is, let me see. I'm looking through it. Yeah, it appears to be a lot of the same.
Omar, are you going to eat, or is that Dominic?
I think that's Dominic.
So to say, you just said I'll BRB going to eat.
Oh,
and
that's
I don't
Dominic.
think that was you. Okay.
That was not me. No. Dominic, he types under my name.
Okay.
All the time. When I'm talking, you see me typing, it's probably Dominic.
Wait. Then who am I having conversations with?
Oh, I don't know.
Who am I friends with? You or Dominic? I don't know.
Oh, you said, let me in, whores. It smells back here.
Oh, no, that was in private chat, but thanks for sharing.
Oh, well.
I hadn't even seen that.
Yeah, it's all right.
Thanks, Lauren.
No, I was backstage for a good 5 minutes or so while you guys were talking.
Yeah. I can't. Other guests can't see the backstage, so I couldn't.
My bad, Lauren. My apologies. I didn't mean to pull a Gingras.
That's cool.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of the same stuff from Dave Neal's complaint is in this old one, although not exactly. There's just more. There's more photos. His complaint looks well. None of the pages are like tilted sideways or anything, but yeah, it's a lot of the same stuff. Going along. Am I still sharing my screen or no? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Gingras began his misconduct. So he uses blog. Oh, handcuffs. All right. So David Gingras posted that he has contacted security at Maricopa County Courthouse that if Michael Maricini comes within 100 yards of the courthouse, he will be arrested. He has a valid subpoena signed by Judge Mata. I believe that David Gingras has violated the following Arizona rules of professional conduct. This complaint is actually really, really well done. I'm starting to get the flow of it now.
Yeah.
So she cites, or he or she, I don't know who it is, cites these 5 specific rules. David Gingras posted on his blog a letter written by Laura Owens, but I hold on because I have to, because I can't let them win. Not today, at least. I can last another 24 hours, but I'm terrified that one day their words will be the final push that sends me over the edge. I remember this. They won't stop until they have me broken completely, until there's nothing left. They won't stop until I'm dead. And
that was the most ridiculous thing.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, Laura, you're more on top of it than I was, because it was at that point, it was like, you know what, I'm just not talking about this Laura stuff anymore.
Well, he also he did, speaking of him being quieter recently, he did actually recently tweet something along the lines of the cult won't stop until she's dead, and I'm just like, holy crap, man! Like, grow a pair of balls.
Like that?
Yeah, yes. Oh yeah. Grow a pair of balls and like get your client some help if she's actually that sick.
Yeah, that's kind of rough to hear. How long ago was that? Did he do that?
Must have been within the last week.
Yeah, that was in the last week or so.
Wow. It continues. Laura's posts appear to be an attempt to manipulate others, possibly to elicit sympathy or to intimidate witnesses related to her case. As a concerned individual, I find it deeply troubling that a legal professional would allow such content to be published, particularly given the potential for harm not only to Laura but also to others. Look, attorney-client privilege is a thing, and if you have it in your mind that you believe your client is in danger of harming herself, then attorney-client privilege goes out the window, and you're allowed to consult the authorities because it's a matter of life and death. And rather than doing that,
same with a therapist.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much the same thing. But rather than doing that, he's encouraging her or allowing her or not stopping her and adding to the fuel to the fire with his blog post. Now that you just told me about that, and allowing her to post this stuff on her whatever that blog website is called. Lawyers have a duty to advocate for their clients, but I believe this situation may cross ethical boundaries. I've been saying that for months. It is my understanding that the legal profession is governed by rules of professional conduct, and I question whether allowing a client to post threats of self-harm and lies of abuse. The second one of my clients even alludes to anything like that, my representation pauses, and I make sure that that person has help immediately. I would even ask for a stay of proceedings so that these mental health issues could be dealt with. You don't have to disclose it to the court. You just have to let her know that there is a serious thing going on and we need whatever. And, there's ways to do it. But he's chosen a different path. He's publicized it, which is nothing that I've ever seen before. This case to me is not interesting for what Laura Owens did. This case is interesting to me in how Gingras is handling it.
Yeah.
It is just so far beyond. Imagine being like a young attorney and this was your boss.
Ew.
And then you're watching him conduct himself this way and you're like, is this how it really goes? Like, seriously? It's just so beyond the pale, man.
Have you ever had to do anything like that you described? Like,
I've definitely had clients that specifically in criminal cases where I've had to just state that, look, I don't believe that my client is mentally all there. I can't enter a plea on their behalf, knowing that I don't know if they're competent or not. And I've had to make those statements in closed chambers with the judges, and there would be like a competency hearing and those kinds of things, mental evaluations. It's never really happened in civil cases or in family law cases, but it's definitely happened in criminal cases.
Have you ever worked with somebody who did not pass a competency evaluation?
Yes.
How often does that happen?
It's only happened to me once. And in this particular case, this guy was ready to get out of jail. He'd been in there for like a period of like a year. He was going to plead to the crime and basically upon pleading be released for time served.
Right.
But they couldn't accept his plea because he had been declared incompetent to stand trial. And they couldn't enter a knowing and intelligent plea, which is the standard, knowing that he was incompetent. So before he was able to enter the plea, they had to make a finding that he was competent. And in order to get there, he had to take his medications. And he was refusing because he thought it was a big conspiracy. I'm not going to take the government's drugs and they're trying to control my mind and this and that. And this went on for months. And I'm trying to like navigate him and I'm trying to navigate his family and everybody's like wondering. Finally, the guy takes his meds and within a couple of weeks, the guy's released.
Yeah, well, people, I feel like there's a lot of misconception based on like what we see on TV and stuff about what the insanity plea is and how often it comes like how often it is like really works. And it ends up like kind of what you're describing. It's not like somebody is like seemingly like crazy. You know what I mean? You can't just like plead insanity in any situation.
It doesn't
you have
dismiss
to.
the case.
What's that?
It will not. It's not going to dismiss your case. I think that's the misconception to it. Like they'll pause proceedings, and you're going to be in custody until you're competent again.
Right.
And if you're never competent again, I guess you're going to be there forever. And so, you can imagine the malingering that goes on because people that have this misconception, I'm just going to be insane. Like that one kid, the 13-year-old that was convicted of taking the life of that other. I think she was 12 or 13. I can't remember his name. Aiden Fucci.
Yeah, I know.
His first interviews with law enforcement, he was like pretending to be demon possessed really badly, like this really bad acting job,
Yeah. The number of times that it happens with teenage boys is actually, it's pretty high. It's pretty crazy. Just in practice. I don't know actual statistics, but like I've seen that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it in men and women.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, pretty evenly, I guess. I don't know the statistics either, but I believe you when you say that.
Some people are a lot more theatrical than others too. So,
I imagine. Yeah. It's funny. It's always obvious when somebody is trying to malinger symptoms of mental illness. because it always just like looks like something that they saw on TV, like One Flew Off the Cuckoo's Nest or something. Jack Nicklaus back in the 70s. Or something out of The Exorcist in the case of Aiden Fucci.
I never watched The Exorcist.
My God, you got to watch that already. Jesus. Bruce, you ever saw The Exorcist?
Oh, of course. And it's Jack Nicholson.
Oh, not the golfer, right? Jack Nicholson. You're right.
Yeah, not the golfer.
Okay.
Yeah. Oregon Classic.
Let me continue with this complaint. So if a lawyer in Arizona releases sealed documents without the court's permission, it could be considered, I think I read that already. He's going on more of this stuff. Professional misconduct. Arizona State Bar may consider such actions as professional misconduct, which could lead to disciplinary actions ranging from reprimand to suspension. There's a YouTube video of Clayton's deposition that was sealed in the Owens v. Eckerd case before trial, June 10th of 2024, that ended up on YouTube. There's on Gingras' Twitter account where he releases sealed photos, medical records, videos. I think that he might have been okay doing that if he had Owens' permission, unless the court ordered those records sealed for other reasons. I don't know. He may have a defense for that one anyway. If an attorney shares communications that might potentially cause harm to the client or others, or if such communications breach any legal or ethical standards, it could potentially raise red flags for the Arizona State Bar. The State Bar has a dedicated department for lawyer regulation, whose role includes addressing issues that arise between attorneys and their clients. And then that's way too small to read. And if I zoom in, it's going to look like that. All right.
Yeah.
This is, I'm assuming, more blog post.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we read this one.
Yeah, it looks like the same one.
More sideways stuff. That's straight off of his Twitter. That's the one about one little last minute recording keeping item. Otherwise, we're ready for Mondays. Oh,
that if anyone attends in person, feel free to say hello. I did not say hello. I decided to forgo that opportunity. But I'm curious. Did anyone take him up on that?
Well, he said it's because he says slowly with hands visible, cowboy.
Well, I think he was just trying to be funny, but you know,
he's like the king of dad jokes, man. He laughs at his own stuff all the time.
I mean, to be fair, we have that in common. But you know,
with dad jokes, man, there's nothing wrong with it.
He has had his moments. They're few and far between, but he has had his little moments.
I think he's jealous of Dave Neal's stand-up comedy.
I think he's jealous of a lot of people. To be honest with you,
I think he's jealous of Dave Neal's wife.
Maybe. Gingras is married, right? Isn't he married? I'm pretty sure he's married.
Yeah, he is.
I believe so.
Oh, Julio, thank you for the 5. Says that she ordered no releasing docs right before Gingras came onto the case. Oh, maybe he wasn't privy to that order.
Oh, that was the judge. Yeah, the judge didn't want documents leaked.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah,
Laura and her attorney, Corey Keith, were complaining that they thought documents were being leaked.
That's right.
And she goes to David Gingras and he starts leaking documents all over.
It's funny, when I first started covering this case, like I didn't want to like even use Laura Owens' name because like the judge said that we're keeping it all confidential. It's like, I guess I'll just not, I'll try to keep it confidential too and just talk about what's out there. And then people got mad at me. Why are you protecting Laura Owens? It's like, hey, sorry, man. I don't know what the orders were. I'm just trying to be respectful. So going on with this, there's an email here. What is this?
I cannot tell what that says. It's very pixelated.
Oh, I'm not looking at the same thing.
Oh, okay.
That you were looking at. My apologies. I was looking at Dave Neal's complaint.
Gotcha.
On accident.
Let's say, how are you reading that?
Yeah, I'm not going to try to read these sideways stuff. There's pleadings here of a protective order before the providing. What is this protective order? The State Bar of Arizona filed a request for a protective order sealing the records on April 15, 2024. No objection was received. Good cause appearing. It is ordered, granting the request that complainant's login credentials for her medical records and email communications with former counsel be sealed and kept confidential. Oh, that's going back to the medical order, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she actually volunteered a lot of that information to the media, so I don't really know what the point of that was, but okay,
yeah,
go off, I guess.
Complaining that the JFC community was making all of this public record and they go and do it anyway.
Here's my one medical login portal, everyone.
Yeah. Hey, Lauren, how you doing on time, man?
Oh, that went out the window half an hour ago. We're fine.
Awesome. So
I mean, I'll have to go soon, but it's fine.
Right.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, I don't mean to spoil your dirty 7-Eleven margaritas.
Dude, I can't drink because it's finals week. I got school stuff to do. That's why I gotta go.
Oh, I'm not drinking the other. I said I was gonna get a whiskey, but I was like, it's a school night, man. I cannot.
Well, not to brag, but I had a lemonade with pulp. So.
Oh boy.
I mean, that's a good recipe for some prison hooch.
Okay.
We understand your anti-pulp stance, Lauren.
KMC Biz Runner, thank you so much for the 10. That was before his time. What are we referring to? Before whose time?
Well, David Gingras is often complaining that he doesn't understand something, or when somebody tells him some contradictory information, he just says, well, this was all before my time.
Oh.
And
he does do that a lot.
He even said this on June 10th during the hearing. And it's sir, you need to be versed in your case here.
It's condescending and disrespectful when he says stuff like that. When I ask him specific real questions that are real issues in the case, and he says, I don't know anything about anything on the internet. I just know. I was like, look, dick. First of all, a lot of that stuff is specifically the pleadings in the case. And if you're not going to be honest with it, then I'm done with you. And I was done with him pretty quickly.
Yeah. And he's fine bringing up prior details of the case when it's
selective,
his purpose.
Yeah, selective memory with that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do the sideways stuff. But all of this is just stuff that I'm sure everybody's already
It's all
saying.
things from Twitter and his blog posts.
Yeah, there's transcripts here. What is this? I can't read these transcripts, and it's going to be really... Oh, that's from deposition transcripts.
Yeah, because he's putting deposition transcript pieces in his blog.
Hey, Megan Fox made the complaint.
Yeah.
What is this? Megan Fox, and it's a media. This looks like her website. Some kind of an article.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what that's about. And then it goes on.
Well, it's related to that email that Laura had them send where it was like, hey, right before June 10th, if you don't drop this, I'm going to file a civil $1.2 million lawsuit. So you better drop it.
Oh, was that? And then Megan Fox responded like, sue me now, asshole, after something happened in court. I remember that. That was like my introduction to the Laura Owens case.
That was also...
yeah, this is more stuff. Folks, I've been scrolling now for like, how long now? I'm on page 129 of 191. There's more blogs, more blog posts. There is a picture of stuff. What is this? Hated in the Nation. Oh, this is Laura's version. Yeah, now we're going in a blog post. And hey, look, the complaint that was submitted was really well done. I'm not going to speculate who it was. I have no idea who wrote it, but they organized it in such a way where they just made it super easy for the state bar to connect the dots. And this is not the first time that they've reviewed this case. And they got plenty of evidence. Dave Neal's complaint was like 101 pages, I think. This one's 191. A lot of these exhibits are overlapping. What's with the Bengals cheerleader? What is that about? Do any of you guys know what this is about?
I think this is another blog post where he's, bringing up cases that he thinks have some sort of metaphor or relation to the Clayton case.
Yeah, I don't want to see it unless he's dancing in it or cheering or whatever. So
I don't want to see him dressing in a cheerleader outfit.
I'd watch.
This is the thing he's doing all the time is he's making these allegories to other cases. And it's like, I don't even understand how that's relevant here. Like, just argue the facts of your own case, right?
Hey, Lauren, I need you to be a therapist for me real quick.
Oh, God, what do you want?
Am I right in my assumption that I believe that David Gingras was a failed drama student in college or really liked it, but, didn't get the big part or whatever, and it's been this lifelong obsession for him?
I would have said maybe more of a screenplay writer. I don't know about an actor. You know what I mean?
The reason I go the actor route is because he writes like it's a musical. You know what I mean? Like he writes in like these overly dramatic Jesus Christ Superstar, Life of David, Monty Python type monologues that could be turned into song if you attach a British accent to it.
Oh yeah.
Or just AI.
Megan Fox did make a musical with AI about his interaction with her.
So I'm not the only one
he
that thinks
eventually
this,
got the musical he wanted, but he just didn't write it.
My goodness.
But I think that's why he and Laura get along so well, is because they both write in that same style. If you read her Medium posts, they both have this same style.
That one, the truth, the one lie, two truths, or whatever game you were playing.
Oh yeah.
With Laura Owen and that thing. I can never look at Laura Owens again. That was the last thing I ever needed. I don't know why I was so grossed out by it.
What was it? I don't remember.
It was the one where she audibly relieved herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us ever knew that until this one guy who came on my stream one time. His name or his Reddit name is Natus, and he's an attorney too. And he came and joined us, and he was talking about it. And then he mentioned like the farting on the Rapgen call. And we were just like, "What are you talking about?" And so we played it, and sure enough, if you listen closely enough, a couple of times.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just not gonna do that.
No, don't play it now. No.
I mean, I don't think he intended to do it. I think he had like really good high quality earbuds in, and he was jogging and listening to the Dave Neal playlist, and he heard it.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, man?
Dave has great audio. What are you gonna do?
So what just happened? Is this another blog? So all these are blog posts, more of the same stuff. And then I'll just scroll through this to get through it. More blog posts. So, all right. I think we could wrap it up by saying that, this was specifically in Dave Neal's complaint. These posts right here, these images and things.
Right.
So the state bar has plenty of evidence. I hope they got better copies than this though, because if they print this, it's going to print like that.
Yeah.
But
if there are specific pages that they need higher quality versions of, apparently, like they said in their mail, right? They can have the investigator contact. They can do that.
They 100% could do that. What is this Dr. Dean stuff? Expert witness for Eckerd was asked, did you give David Gingras or Laura Owens permission allowing the party to post her medical report online? Dr. Dean says she did not give Gingras or Owens permission.
Yep. That's what I mentioned before. This happened on the June 10th hearing.
On June 10th, 2024, Judge Mata granted Michael Maricini a subpoena to testify as a witness in the trial of Clayton Eckerd. David Gingras contacted Maricopa County Police to have Michael arrested, but they did not take him into custody. During the courtroom proceedings, David Gingras requested that Michael be removed, but Judge Mata denied his request. He really did. And it was like,
he really spent a lot of his time on that. I really feel like his time management skill during the trial was not very good compared to Firm Woodnick.
I agree with that, but I also feel like Laura had a role to play in all of that, because Laura was a terrible witness, and he was trying to get her to tell her side of the story. The problem with that is she was always going to be crossed, and she was always going to fall apart on cross. So he had to spend a great deal of his time trying to get Laura Owens to tell her story in a way that made sense. The problem is that it was so hard. There was so much meat on the bone on cross that she just fell apart, and just, there wasn't time for much of anything. So that is the complaint. Now, the only reason I brought this and decided to do a live on it was because it's significant in that I feel like it's like the calm before the storm with this for Gingras. I honestly feel like, if anything, he's going to get a stern admonishment. I feel like with David Neal, does anybody know, didn't that end with like an admonishment or a promise to conduct himself better to the state bar?
Well, the bar letter to Gingras said, please remember to keep these things in mind, right? So they sort of gave him a little slap on the wrist, but that was it.
So that kind of makes me feel like this complaint, given that it overlaps so perfectly with Dave Neal's complaint, lets me know that it's probably not going to go very far, because they've already dealt with it. We get it. We know all these things happen. We talked about it. He promised he was going to stop. Now, the one thing that may stop, or that may prompt them to act, is his continued gross misconduct in how he conducts himself online with respect to the JFC community, with respect to Laura Owens, with respect to his website and all those kinds of things. I'm a little surprised given the breadth of how many complaints that they've received and the breadth of evidence that they have of misconduct that they haven't taken action. I feel like I've seen attorneys be suspended for much less than that.
Yeah, the unique thing for me on this one is that this one was filed after not only after the hearing, but after the judge's ruling, and includes information related to things that happened in the hearing. So
Yeah.
to me, that makes this document unique compared to any other ones we may have seen.
It spells it out. I mean, it's definitely longer than David Neal's. And so if they're of the opinion that we've already dealt with this, we've already talked to them about this, to the extent that this complaint is offering new information that they didn't already have from Neal's complaint or other complaints, then maybe this results in something in the form
Right.
of public admonition, in the form of making him take like an ethics class or something. I feel like in California, they would have already suspended him. They would have probably, if not suspended him, they would have probably made him take like a class on ethics.
Arizona is often unique, I think.
Yeah, I feel like they're real lax over there in Arizona. Like the whole thing, like I never got like, oh, you got 2 hours for a trial of this magnitude. Like, really? Wow. I've had child support hearings go longer than 2 hours.
Right. Yeah.
But that's 100%. I've had child support hearings last for months. I wish they would have limited us to a couple hours. That would have saved everybody a lot of time. All right. So I got something else with respect to the Owens case that, Lauren, you had talked about this earlier. I received some dash cam footage. I saw this morning that you went live with it. And you had mentioned that it was something dealing with Laura Owens' mom and a welfare check. What do you know about
it? Somebody called in a wellness check because she had made posts in respect to threatening or like vaguely suggesting self-harm or suicidality. And so somebody, called in a check and like in good faith, like that's a valid reason to call in for a wellness check. Because even though we know that she's, always saying stuff like that and she's full of shit, not everybody knows that. And people are going to come across this and be like, what the hell? Like, this person's really like sick and they need help. So somebody calls it in and the police go over there and her mom comes out and they talk to the mom, and it's like an 18-minute video of them talking to the mom. And the entire time, Laura is not involved at all. They didn't check on her one time. They took the mom's word for it. Not knowing if like her mom was like part of the problem or not, you know what I mean? They're just taking the mom's word for it. They did not do their jobs. And also they then proceeded to give the mother the contact information of the person who called in the wellness check, which is just gross. Because not only are they not making sure that the person in crisis who may potentially be inside bleeding out is okay, or like somebody who may have overdosed, they didn't check on them to make sure they're okay, but they also put the person who was trying to do the right thing in potential jeopardy by giving them that contact information. So
I see. Well, I'm gonna play the video, and I've never seen this before.
Yeah. Also, before we look at that, I just want to point out there is one part of this video where they say Greg came to their house one time and asked for the Wi-Fi password. That did not happen. So that is another false police report. Just want to point that out. You'll see it when you see it, but.
All right. Here is the video. Without further ado. Is the audio? Yeah.
It pops in. Yeah.
So that's Laura Owens' mom right there.
Correct.
Okay.
Hi
there.
Is Laura here? Yeah, she is somebody called in a welfare check about her? Yes.
Yeah. It's a friend from New York. I don't know if you know who that might be.
No, what I do know is that she is the target of an online harassment campaign that has been going on for months.
Okay.
And one of the things that they wanted to do, it was started by a disgruntled ex-boyfriend of hers. And he started posting all of this crazy stuff.
Now, when she says disgruntled ex-boyfriend, are we talking about Eckert?
No, we're talking about the Greg who she went on 3 dates with.
Oh, Greg. Okay.
Yeah, she's
She's
mostly
stuck
talking
here,
about.
yeah.
She will talk about Clayton a little bit, but she's mostly
Mhm.
talking about Greg. And the other thing is that's not true because Laura was the first one who went on Reddit and went to the Sun. Clayton did not do any of that.
I was sent some text messages between Clayton and Laura's mom from June 4th. I can't tell if it was June 4th of this year or June 4th.
No, it would have been the previous year.
That would have been last year.
Okay. Have you guys seen these? You know what? I'm going to share these with you guys.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You may have. Yeah.
Lauren seems pretty confident that she knows what I'm talking about. And so I feel like I just need to confirm.
Well, look, it's weird as hell. So how could I forget, you know?
Is this what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have the gist of what these text messages were? Or are there any relevance whatsoever to this body cam footage?
I think you should read them, yes.
Okay. So these text messages are between Clayton Eckerd and, Laura Owens' mom. Blue is mom. Gray is going to be Clayton. Hi, Clayton. It's Jan. I very much appreciate you reaching out to me as I know this is a stressful time for you and Laura. I'm more than happy to talk with you, but I think it makes the most sense for you to speak more with her first. She is experiencing the physical effects of the pregnancy. Oh yeah, this is 23, wasn't it? And needs the emotional support of you as the father of the child. I know if you put yourself in her shoes, you'd expect the same. You're both in my prayers. Are you able to talk here in 5 minutes? I would greatly appreciate it. Sorry, I'm busy this afternoon with Laura's dad, Ron. Okay, no worries. When would be a good time to talk on the phone? I'm happy to accommodate whatever time works best for you. I'm really intensely focused on my husband and his medical needs through early tomorrow evening. I kind of see where Laura gets her sense of drama. Again, please communicate with Laura first. She told me about what you said this morning, and given the circumstances, I doubt you can convince me of any reason why you can't devote time to get to know her better so that both of you can make the best decision possible. That's just weird. I'm not calling you to convince you of anything. I just want to have a conversation with you. I know you want what is best for your daughter. So I hope our conversation can lead us to a place where that is possible. If nothing else, I'd like to share with you a little bit about my entire situation. All I'm asking for is one conversation. If you don't want to talk to me again after that, I will respect your wish. And you talk Tuesday at 11. You know, good on Clayton for even entertaining this, because I feel like if this was me, I'm not sure how willing I would be. Well, I guess, I don't know, Bruce. What do you think? If you're getting like a phone call from some lady, mom, that you may or may not have gotten pregnant at the time, and back in June, was Clayton even aware of whether or not the pregnancy was valid at that point? I don't think he was.
I don't think so. So I think he's just trying to get a sense of whether or not, if he's seeing suspicious behavior from Laura, he's trying to say, hey, parents, are you seeing the same thing? Are we on the same page?
Yeah.
Is this normal? Like, he's just trying to get a sense of that, right? At this point.
No, I was trying to catch his bearings for sure. I guess I could see that.
Yeah. And the
100%.
interesting thing to me is how in these texts, they're just sort of refusing to verify their identity right now. Like, yeah, I'll call you right now, or FaceTime or whatever.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
a
very
little weird.
typical if you look at Chase J. Jones, Tag, Lisa Chen. None of them will confirm their identity with anybody. Very similar to these text messages.
That is strange. If you will agree to take time to get to know her better to see if there is a deeper connection given the circumstances, then yes, we can talk at some point on Tuesday. That is so just a weird sentence to come out of a parent's mouth. And her daughter would have been like, what, 33, 34 at the time?
Yeah, and what this text reminds me of are those Mike Maricini doctor's note emails where the doctor's like, hey, boyfriend, you should go support Laura during this time and talk to her.
Yeah.
It's the same type of language.
I got to tell you, man, I've been contacted by a lot of weird people with respect to this case, and I don't trust
Talk about me like that.
I mean, we're right here, man.
Not you, but I've been contacted by just strange people that I don't trust and I can't vet, and I've just left it alone.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if you can't verify the identities, then be very on your guard.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Well, with this case specifically, I've had to do that. Cat Lady Ballerina, how you doing? With the 2, she says June 4th was 2 weeks from BJ's. Oh, we're not even in the BJ event just
Oh,
yet.
it's after the
It
fact.
was 2 weeks after.
Oh, 2 weeks after. Oh, 2
Yeah.
weeks from. I
So-
get it.
So if 11 days she's saying, hey, maybe I'm pregnant or I passed a pregnancy test. Now we're
pretty
just like
quick.
3 days after that.
Of the times that my wife has gotten pregnant, it was never like, you'd have to like think back about in the timeline of things. Like, does it make sense? All I'm saying is it wouldn't have been like 11 days after. It would have been like a month after you missed your cycle. And then even then, you're just like, oh, well, maybe I'm just late or whatever. And then it becomes like 2 months in, and then you go to the doctors, you get your pregnancy test. But it's never
No.
11 days. That's just strange.
No, with Laura, it's always immediate. And it's always
Yeah.
like this paranoia of like, oh, I'm not on birth control, so maybe I'm pregnant. I'm worried.
Yeah,
It's
there's
like
a
that movie,
preemptive
I
excuses.
better start taking 900 P tests.
It's like that movie Species where the first one back from like the 90s where they have sex and then like 2 minutes later she's pregnant and then like I don't know. Go YouTube it on it's
A little bit.
You make a lot of references I just don't understand.
I know.
I got that one.
Before your time, Lauren. So she goes on with this weird sentence. My husband has a medical appointment that day, and I'm not sure what time again with her husband's medicals. Clayton says, unfortunately, we've already tried that, and there isn't a deeper connection. I'm sure that you can understand that it's not possible to force something that is not there. Trust me, this would be a whole lot simpler if there was a connection. Nonetheless, I believe I could have a productive conversation, one that is worthwhile. Sharing my side of the story can paint a fuller picture that I feel will help you see both sides. You don't have to agree with me, nor am I asking you to. I would just like to give you an explanation for why I am proceeding the way I am. I will shoot you a text Tuesday morning and we can figure out a good time for both of us. Thanks. And then mom is arguing with him. Clearly there was a connection of some sort.
Yeah, her mouth connected. Never mind.
Yeah, her mouth connected to unceremoniously to his appendage.
Oh boy.
I didn't want to get you in trouble on the YouTube.
Oh, I could Gingras it, and just use a colorful musical words. Clearly a connection of some sort was felt considering she is pregnant with your child. I'm deeply disappointed that you have come to that conclusion without so much as taking her out on a date since this has happened. This is like the most uncomfortable conversation to have of all time with a prospective in-law. Unfortunately, if you are, I know, man. I mean, come on, man.
The other thing that's so similar is it's 2 weeks in and you take one HCG test at home and suddenly it's 100% pregnant.
At this point, was she declaring pregnant with twins?
I don't think twins yet, but definitely 100% pregnant. I mean, that the language of this text is exactly the same.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if you're unwilling to even speak with Lauren, given and explore that connection, given what has happened, there's no need to have a conversation with me. At that point, I think I would have checked all the way out if I was Clayton, but he continues. She continues with more stuff. Surely you can understand that physical attraction is just one part of the equation when it comes to a healthy, long-lasting relationship. Clayton's trying to use too much logic here.
I mean, in defense, though, of Clayton, I mean, most of us, yes, we would just check out, but they are threatening his livelihood. Like, he's spoken before on, like, how, like, social media was, like, a big source of income for him before, and she's threatening to go to the press. So, like, he has to do something.
Yeah. So there's much else that people must align on: politics, religion. The way we handle conflict does not align well. And also, I haven't felt like I've had a say in any decision since we've begun handling all of this. Those two issues alone are enough to show me we're not compatible, which is completely okay. Jan, I really think we should hop on a phone call. Wouldn't you agree it's important to hear both sides of the story before you cast a judgment, come to a conclusion? And then she responds, what's the timestamp here? 8:29. So she responds, I guess, the next day, June 5th. Yeah, the next day. My understanding is that you refuse to have the conversation with her. Once you have it, I'm happy to talk on the phone. Jesus. So the context of this is Clayton feels threatened. And he's trying to, I guess, bring everybody together and have some kind of a logical discussion to calm everybody down just a little bit, lower the temperature just a little bit before we all go down this path, and I guess that's the origin of it all. So
This also reminds me the typical Laura behavior of figuring out what you want and then making it conditional on something she wants.
Yeah,
this is very similar.
Just this weird emotional manipulation, blackmail. I'll do this only if you do that type of a maneuver. That's what I mean. When I first started reading his text messages, I guess I kind of see where Laura gets it from. She was raised that way. This was her, I guess, the context of her childhood.
I mean, there's been some question of whether or not she was texting as her parents, but I think if you watch the rest of the police body cam footage, you're going to see that it definitely came from the mother at some point.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I don't think it matters whether Laura or her mom wrote these texts after you watch the body cam video.
All right, let's do it.
Do you have it up?
Nope.
I was about to say I wondered if you were watching it and
we're
we
still
just
seeing.
Oh, I was totally watching it. I was waiting for you guys. I thought I apologize. I forgot if I don't share my screen, nobody can hear.
Has the text message.
Okay. There we go. All right.
It's a prank thing. But I'm happy to go get her. She was taking a nap. This has been devastating beyond belief.
Is she asleep now?
She's taking a nap, but I can wake her up.
I don't think that would be necessary.
No, okay.
That's negligence right there. That is total negligence.
Reason it wasn't in our notes for your address.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna put comments in there that says this is an ongoing prank.
Right.
Right. They still may send. We have to understand because if it's not us on or it's not the same dispatchers, they still might just send on it. But
do we know where Laura was when this was going down?
Supposedly inside taking a nap.
Did they make an effort to at least make contact with her?
No, they did not.
All right.
I would work on trying to contact Reddit and let them know.
She has contacted them. They will not take it down. They will not take it down. And this guy, he's created different fake accounts. I mean, it's.
He's going to great lengths. Have you looked into an injunction against harassment?
She has against him. This is part of his thing. She's had this against him for 2 years, and
this is an old ex-boyfriend then.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
It's an old ex-boyfriend, and she had the injunction against harassment against him. I mean, he's really another friend of ours who is an FBI profiler had looked at, what this guy is all about. And she said he's the kind of a person who is not going to stop unless he thinks he's got to win. Okay. And he had said to her, he texted her, "I will destroy your life. I will destroy your reputation." And that was 2 years ago. And he's just continued this.
Is he local here? Or?
Yeah, he's local.
What's his name?
He's local. His name is Greg Gillespie. But he could have called from a fake number, or like I say, he's tried to start stuff online. She contacted the Scottsdale Police Department with a lot of instances of these, and they sent it to the prosecutor's office. And the prosecutor's office said that they didn't think they could get a conviction on it. They said there was a lot of stuff, but they didn't know that if they would be able to get a conviction on it. So I think that one of his motives is to try to make it so that when her order against him comes up for renewal next year, that he can say, well, look, she's crazy. Look at all this stuff that he's posted online about her, and you know.
Well, and then especially for her, document it, get copies of it, so then she can go right back to the judge and be like, this is what's going on.
Right. And he's contacted a podcaster who has also been doing just relentless posts about her. And
That's so strange.
I know.
Well, what happened, what prompted a lot of this stuff is my daughter became pregnant by the guy who was the bachelor last year.
Okay.
And she became pregnant by him in May. And then he was acting like, oh, you're not really pregnant, or if you are pregnant, it's not mine. And then other times he was saying to us like, oh, but he wanted to be involved in the pregnancy and all this kind of stuff. So anyhow, when this ex-boyfriend found out about her pregnancy with this guy, then it sent him like into kind of an overdrive thing. And then he reached out to him, and it's like my daughter finally did a big post on Medium the other day, explaining, just the toll that all of this has taken on her, and how it's crazy beyond belief.
Is that your neighbor?
I think there's probably somebody, our neighbor babysits dogs
Oh,
in the daytime,
okay.
so I think this is like pickup.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So we're like,
I know. I'm always kind of like that too.
get online. I also try to get online. You can contact Google at different places.
I feel like if I'm an officer and somebody made a call like that, I'm there to do a welfare check, and mama's over there talking as much as she is. I feel like I would be a little bit more suspicious. I would need to see Laura.
Yeah.
Right.
So the like people have pointed out, or at least a couple of people pointed out earlier, like when you're in a situation like this and somebody seems to be saying some stuff that's really off, or they might seem like something's not right with them. Like, yes, I understand, because I've done it a million times, like speaking to a delusional person and just like trying to get more information. And so you're just kind of like going with it. But you still have to do your job. You still have to check and make sure there's no danger, especially if the storyteller here seems to be unreliable based on what she's saying. Like, how like likely is it that everything this person's saying is absolutely true? Given a wellness check was just called on the person inside. So you have to do your diligence, like your due diligence. Like, this is just completely negligent at this point.
It's a red flag when they just start spinning stories like this. Like, oh, that's all well and good, but can I see Laura, please? I need to speak with her.
Yeah, I mean, there could be a body buried in the backyard right now.
Yeah.
They don't know. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm missing it. Is she trying to say that it's one of her ex-boyfriends that is...
She's saying that Greg...
welfare check is Greg.
She's saying that Greg Gillespie called in the welfare check as a prank, and I can confirm that is 100% not true.
Yeah, that's incorrect.
That's what I thought I heard. I just, it's so incredible. I heard her say that he's using this to try to make her look bad in court when they go back and litigate some kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah, so they can
she has a protective order against Greg Gillespie that has to be renewed.
Yeah.
At some point in the future.
Right.
Well, Jan is saying that he wants to be able to point to all these wellness checks and say, like, look, Laura's crazy. See, but they're actually spinning the story against Greg. Like, the things that they're accusing him of, and like, this is her normal fashion. Like, she's accusing him of doing the things that she is doing to him. So,
well, I think that Greg has ample evidence. When is that up for renewal? Does anybody know?
In a few months, 2 or 3 months, right? Bruce?
Oh, it's coming up. He's got ample evidence to combat that when the time comes.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go forward with this.
And have her information removed from online, like house, phone number, things like that. Work on doing that too. Try to get as much information as you can offline. I know it's hard. We have to do it, and that's exactly how they tell us to do it. And there's ways to, like, whitepages.com, and you can go on, there's a link, it says remove my information, and you can go on that, have her start doing all that information too. And then I get that they're coming to the house, but see what you can do to block that information.
Right.
So,
well, I feel really awful for you guys, because it's a waste of resources, and it's obviously prank stuff. But do you know what phone number had contacted?
It's a 415 area code. It's out of New York.
415 is San Francisco, because we're from San Francisco. Our numbers are 415.
The 415 one day I tried.
This is like one of the worst parts of this call, in my opinion, is when she will go to her car and get the phone number and then give it to Jan.
The whole phone number?
Yeah, they give her the whole phone number. Like, she goes to the car to get the phone number, comes back and gives it to Jan.
Seriously?
Yep.
The person that called us gave us that phone number to contact her, so that whoever called doesn't have
It's
her.
getting old information online.
I'm assuming it didn't match Greg's phone number, though. Am I correct?
No, it didn't. And also, the 911 dispatcher would be able to confirm that it was not Greg's voice on the call.
Fine. Okay. Do you? Because I just like to
give me a second. I'll walk out and go grab it.
Oh, that would be great because I'd really like to see if it. I think it's probably a fake number, but
Probably.
But yeah, if you could let me know, that would be great.
Do you know how to spell Greg's last name? Is it Gillespie? Do you know his date of birth by chance, or about how old he is?
Could I just point out how idiotic that legal strategy would be in the face of trying to renew or oppose the renewal of a restraining order, that you're going to use the fact that there was at one point in time a wellness check that was brought about by mental strain that was in part as a result of abuse suffered at the hands of the person they're trying to get the order renewed against. That's just idiotic.
It's like saying, hey, look how much distress I caused her. Now she's suffering so much that they had to call wellness checks.
That's just idiotic. There's no logic in that.
I think he's around Laura's age, so I think maybe 89 or 90.
The year he was born.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, what? Okay.
when I said old boyfriend, I meant old boyfriend. Yeah, 89 or 90.
And is he white, black, Hispanic?
He's white.
He's white now.
He's white, yeah.
And he lives here in Scottsdale, you said?
Yeah, I think he lives on.
Okay. Has he been harassing her by stopping by the house at all, anything like that?
He has gone into her email. They dated very briefly, and she became pregnant by him.
Okay.
And he was very, shall we say, violent in his effort to get her to have an abortion. So she filed an abortion coercion case against him.
Okay.
Which really ticked him off.
Yeah.
She didn't ask for any money for her. She asked for a charitable donation for abortion coercion. Did you get it?
Yeah, it's 4.
Okay, let me see here. I'm trying to find my text so I can text myself.
1565.
Here, I was gonna. Okay.
Yeah. So they're giving her the phone number so that she can look it up and see if she knows who it is.
Yeah, which is just not good police work.
No, it's putting the caller in danger of who knows. Like,
I'm gonna actually
was Greg contacted as a result of this interaction by law enforcement?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Bruce, you know?
I do not know. I don't think so, though.
We gotta remember
I think if he was, we would know about it.
Yeah.
This is multiple complaints against Greg. You know, false complaints, but they're multiple complaints. So like, there might be a record out there where they contacted Greg, and I believe there is after a police call, but it's probably not this one.
I got
you. That's true. Yeah.
To follow up with them.
Okay.
What does Greg drive? Do you know?
I don't. I don't.
Okay.
She didn't. I was saying that my daughter had briefly dated this Greg guy, and in 2021, I guess, and she had become pregnant by him, and he was very violent in his effort to persuade her to take abortion pills, and she filed an abortion coercion case against him, not seeking any money, but saying, nobody should be, taking you by the mouth and forcing pills down your throat to get you, to have an abortion. And so this really started all of his anger against her. And she was able to get a protective order against him. And, it's just like I say, this whole thing has, once he found out, that she was pregnant by the bachelor guy, then he was just like, oh, okay, I'm going to go tell him this stuff. And he's made lies. I mean, he's made crazy things. He's posted online stuff saying that he went to high school with her, which he never did. I mean, he's posted on these fake accounts. saying that he knew her in high school and that
those are real people that went to high school with her.
Was pregnant by a developmentally disabled kid, the father of somebody else, the principal, the school principal. I mean, things that are so unbelievably outrageous.
What is she talking
it's
about?
Like, it's to really, I think, try to.
This is like ground zero of all this bullshit, man.
I actually have no idea what she's talking about.
There are people that went to high school with her that did post stories on Reddit or told stories to other people. They're not Greg Gillespie.
But I mean, I'm kind of just getting a better perspective of where all of this bullshit is coming from.
Yeah.
I feel like Laura, I 100% believe she's mentally ill. And I believe that she is prone to conspiracies. The fact that on June 11th, she's calling because of an Instagram post where she sees her 3 exes join in unison without mentioning her name, say a prayer, and that's somehow harassment against her. Every little thing that happens is somehow a spiritual attack against her. And her mom is perpetuating it. Look how she's talking. Her mom doesn't even know what the F she's talking about. But she's been filling these law enforcement officers' ears for 11 minutes now, and she hasn't once addressed. They haven't once addressed whether or not Laura is actually okay.
Correct. And it's just a litany of claims with no evidence.
Yeah,
that's the other thing.
Which would, if I was a law enforcement, to me, that's a major red flag. I still don't understand why they didn't ever actually just lay eyes on Laura. Just show me she's okay, man.
It's like completely unacceptable. That is their whole entire job, is to like see and make sure the person is okay. So
giving
like
the phone number from the caller to her mom as if like she's part of the team. That's just so out of bounds, man.
To discredit her again, so that when her order against him comes up, that it'll look like, oh wow, you look at the stuff online, man, you know. So
there is a current order of protection against him.
Yes, there is, and
was
like
that
I said, it
filed through
expired
Scottsdale or county? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, and the guy is unhinged. I mean, I had no clue when, you know, I had said to her when she wanted to file this abortion coercion case in the first place, I said, you know what, just let sleeping dogs lie, just be done with him and everything like that. And she was like, no, I feel really strongly about what he did and the way he did it to me. And so, you know, she went ahead with it, and as I say, it just started this torrent of really, really bad stuff. But anyway, I appreciate it, and
no problem.
You know,
Definitely look into trying to get any information you can removed online, because they had your name too.
They did. What did they have? As
Elizabeth.
Okay, that's my given name. Jan is my nickname. Jan's the name I use.
Robert.
Who?
What is it? When I took a picture of it, just
okay. Yeah.
They have your husband's name too.
Okay, Ron. Okay.
So, and this address. So I would definitely try to see whatever you can remove from online.
Yeah. No, they've been trying to post on our social media stuff. They've posted on her social media stuff. They've and this guy, as I say, when she was going out with him, he said, like, you know, well, I'm really suspicious of people. So, you know, would you give me your passwords? Because I wouldn't want to think, you know, I want everything to be, you know, I want us to trust each other. So she gave it. She was like, oh, okay, sure, no problem. So he's gone in to her emails from years and years ago, and doctored emails and sent them as though they were from her. He's doctored letterhead. He did come here one time when she was dating him, and
he did not go to their house.
He said, "Hey, I need your parents' Wi-Fi information."
Did not happen.
Out here. And he said, "I need their Wi-Fi. What's their password and stuff like that." So he's been doing
if later when you speak to Laura, like I said, I won't necessarily want.
Hey, y'all want to hear the actual 911 call from December 23rd?
Oh, sure. Why not? Wait, this is okay. This was on December 12th, so we're looking at.
Oh, well.
But I mean, that's what 9.
Oh no,
10,
well, this is
11 days later. So I
read it wrong. My apologies. It's written in like European. It's 23, 12.
there's also like dozens of them. You know what I mean? So
yeah, this one's from December 12th. So this is the actual call. Let me just share my screen without showing my entire Discord.
The other thing is by looking at the text messages between Greg and Mike with Laura, she's the one who's constantly trying to get them to say that they have trust. She's the one who's constantly saying, hey, look at this HCG test in the patient portal. So it's not them demanding passwords or Wi-Fi passwords or whatever. It's her trying to manipulate them and then turning it around.
Why are you giving a third date your email passwords?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
There's no logic behind that. But for what it's worth, this is the December 12th 911 call that prompted this.
Oh, I get it now. You're saying it's written in European. I was like, what is he talking about? I get it now. Okay.
My bad. I was using my own language.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, thank you. I'm calling because I was hoping to be able to have the wellness check done on one of my friends.
Okay, do you have the address?
Yes.
Doesn't sound like Greg to me.
I believe
no.
At this
and it doesn't sound like Laura either.
What address is that?
It is.
This on my live stream.
What makes you think she's there? Is she renting a room? Does she live there?
Her parents live there.
Okay, hold on just a second. I need to answer 911. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. What's your friend's name?
No worries. Laura.
What's Laura's last name?
Owens. Owens.
Is it Laura Laura, or does she have a different spelling?
Yes. Yep, Laura.
Do you know her date of birth?
I don't know her date of birth.
Do you know how old she is?
Know the date.
Okay, so she's like 33?
33, yeah.
Okay. Is she white, black, Hispanic, Native, Asian, Middle Eastern?
She's white.
What's going on with her that you're concerned?
Well, she is currently pregnant with twins. That it's a whole long story. Involved in a paternity situation with the father, and she has mentioned several times to people that she's very depressed and suicidal.
Why did the officers not know that the caller was a female?
Because they were negligent and didn't do their job.
Goes without saying, but I mean, they could have at least listened to the call maybe on the way over.
Yeah, it's weird. The one officer talked about they have a screenshot, so it's almost like they have a transcript of the call.
But I mean,
yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't.
Right.
She.
So I just.
It's almost just like they didn't care. You know what I mean?
I just want to make sure she's okay.
Have you tried calling her or texting her?
I haven't heard anything.
Okay, so you haven't. She's not responding.
Yeah, but I haven't done it I didn't do it right before I called you guys. It's been a while.
What?
And I know, probably about a day or so. And she did. I know she recently posted online. It was before I last contacted her, but so I know she was active online, and now I just haven't heard anything.
Okay. What's Laura's phone number?
Let me look. Sorry. 1 second. Sorry.
Well, you're looking for that. Do you know how old Laura is? Or I'm sorry, how tall Laura is?
Oh, how tall? About 5'5".
Is she thin, medium, or heavy set? Minus the pregnancy.
Thin.
Okay.
Thin. Yeah, normally thin.
Do you know what kind of vehicle she drives?
No, I don't.
Statements.
It's been basically like directed at someone else. Like if anything happens to me, my blood will be on your hands. Kind of.
Jesus Christ.
So she hasn't like come straight out and said like I'm going to kill myself, but she's alluded to that.
So she's saying this. It's a female that's making the call. The officers are there to do the welfare check, and they were defeated by her mom's stories of an ex-boyfriend that's trying to get one over in a restraining order case. It's just baffling.
Okay. Do you have her phone number?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know the names of her parents? Or how many people?
Her dad's name is Ron.
Does he have the same
And
last name that she does, or does he have a different name?
yeah, he does, but her mom has a different last name.
Okay. Do you know the mom's name?
It's
If you don't, that's
Elizabeth. I think it's Elizabeth, but I know it's not the same last name.
Phone number? Address? Okay. What state are you calling from, or what state do you live?
All right, so that was the breadth of it. I'm going to go back to now with that context in mind. I'm going back to the body cam footage.
All right, I think that it's 9:30. I think I have to make myself leave.
All right, Lauren, I'm gonna be cutting this off pretty soon.
All right, cool. I don't want to, but I got like I said, I got school stuff, finals and stuff are due on Sunday, so cause I have online classes. So,
Lauren, handle your business, man. Make yourself proud.
All right, bye everyone.
Tell the professor the twins ate your homework.
Tell him exactly that, and then tell him all the other stuff you're saying in the private chat.
Good night, Bruce.
Oh,
it smells back here.
I'm in trouble.
Oh boy. Is Lauren exits?
We gotta be careful what we ask for.
I know. All right, I'm gonna finish up with this. And then we're gonna wrap it up, and then I'm gonna get going myself.
Yeah. All I know is that 911 call was not me or Greg Gillespie or you.
Well, clearly not. It was a lady. To be sure. All right, here we go.
If she wants to speak with someone from the police department about everything that's been going on lately, because you said it's been the third time in about the last week or so.
Right, and she had talked with Detective Reedy. I think he had come up with he had sent the stuff and forwarded it to the prosecutors, but the prosecutors just said that they'd have to be assured of getting a conviction.
Have her reach out to Detective Reedy again and let him know what's going on with this now. That may be able to kind of help maybe refile the charges.
I think what his thing was that it would be difficult for him to be able to prove, she was suspicious of all this stuff.
Yeah.
But there's nobody else who would have the motive to do it.
It is difficult.
It's hard. It's proven.
It's proven because he goes under fake names.
She's talking like that, but they don't know that the identity of the caller was not even a male. I'm just like, I'm blown away by how inept these officers are.
Yeah.
Obviously, doctor,
they're ready to just leave.
Their concern was when they called?
Suicidal comments.
Okay, well, because when she posted this thing on Medium, she had written in there that this unrelenting, this has gone on for months, that this had made her feel borderline suicidal.
Okay.
So, but she said the borderline suicidal thing, but that's not,
it's not the case.
Right. It's like she had said to me, like, oh my God, how much more of this can I?
Could I just play pet detective over here real quick? So you get a wellness check, a call for a wellness check from a female, from somebody saying that this person, they're concerned because they have suicidal ideations. Her mother is confirming that she's going through all kinds of bullshit by all of this stuff that she's just explaining. And they don't think that, hey, maybe we should just ask Laura to make sure that she's not like highly medicated.
Yeah.
or, going through some kind of an overdose situation, or if she's mentally well, nobody thinks to do that. They just take this lady's word for it and leave. I'm blown away.
Do you think if a man had answered the door that they would have done this exact same thing?
I am not sure. I think if some officer came to my door asking to do a welfare check on my daughter, I would get my freaking daughter. There would be no stories like maybe I need to check on my daughter. What's going on?
Right.
I wouldn't be spinning these stories to these officers like that. That would just be that, but that's just being me. I feel like most men would do that. I feel like most women would do that. I'm blown away by Jan. I'm blown away by these officers just like taking this all right, well, I guess there's nothing to see here. And then they leave. All right, there's like 3 more minutes.
Do you have any friends in New York?
My daughter lives in New York. My other daughter lives in New York, but she's well aware of what's going on. She would
contact you directly.
Of course. And Laura talks to her like twice.
That wasn't Laura's sister on the call, was it?
They're on the phone. So, and I was just with my daughter in there like 5 minutes before you guys rang, and the reason she lives in the casita, and the reason I left was because she said, "Hey, I'm spent from all this. I just want to close my eyes for a little bit."
There's an interesting comment in the chat where somebody thought they heard somebody say Laura in the background of the 911 call, and which makes you wonder, well, because I don't know that the sister would have called 911 with the wellness check, but maybe the sister had a friend do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't hear the Lauren thing.
So Anon 420 had that idea in chat, and I think that's very interesting.
That's why they said New York. They just said that Laura's sister lives in New York. Was it her sister?
Or somewhere up there. I don't know.
Yeah, who else does she know in New York? All right.
When did she post that?
When did she post the Medium thing?
Yesterday.
No, it was before yet. I mean, it was on there yesterday, but I want to say it was maybe today's Tuesday, maybe Friday night or Saturday.
Okay, that kind of goes with the timeline. I'm gonna give this to you. Not that you guys are in crisis, but they might be able to kind of help. Just give her someone else to talk to, or that they have resources that we don't even know exist.
Oh, really?
Reach out. They might be able to help you put you guys in a good direction.
Okay.
And also reach out to Detective Reed again
and just say
that
this has been going on.
Yeah, let him know what's been happening, and that way he's kind of apprised of it too. So it might be able to help kind of open a different door, a different direction. But reach out to him again.
Okay.
These guys have a lot of resources that we don't even know exist.
Okay.
So give them a call.
Okay. Yeah, it can't hurt because because like she had said, she had tried to be anonymous with this whole thing initially with the pregnancy with the bachelor guy, and then
it's so not true.
And then people were saying, "Well, wait, you can," or this guy was starting the conversation that wait, you can Google the case, and then her name comes up, and it's Laura Owens, and she's a podcaster. She and I do a podcast, and we've done it for I guess it's 2017, and iTunes named us one of the top 25 most downloaded new podcasts in 2018. So we've had success with it.
She's out here plugging her podcast. Can you believe this?
Wanted to stay.
She had to give herself a plug.
The radar on this.
Yeah.
She finally decided, like, hey, this guy is controlling the narrative, and I have to speak out. I have to explain what's been going on, because otherwise she was feeling like she was getting no support from anybody, because she didn't really want to go tell her friends and everything like that this was all going on.
Yeah.
So it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. But I really appreciate you guys commenting.
Yeah, we'll put comments in there so they know.
Okay. Officer Hranick was the guy who contacted her the other night. Like,
yeah.
So
we'll put comments in there with the address, and then it'll come up in the history. And we can go back and read through the comments. So we'll try to do that to kind of help you guys out a little bit.
Okay, yeah, no, I really appreciate it. Anything
problem.
Hey, wait, I've got something for you guys. Hang on one sec.
What did she got? Like a ham sandwich? Or like a business card for her podcast?
Mustard on both sides.
Well, thank you. I would never say no to chocolate, so.
Oh, well, that's nice.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
I'm sure her mom meant well. But
I guess
I'm just so blown away by how inept that entire encounter was. You literally get a phone call from a female from across the country stating that you believe that this person has suicidal ideations. You have confirmation from mom that there's a hell of a lot going on surrounding this young lady, involving harassment and other stuff and, whatever weird things. And you don't think to just say, okay, but could we just get eyes on Laura? Ask her multiple times.
Like, oh, she went to take a nap.
Yeah, they literally gave her like resources. Here, there's people that you can talk to. Just contact betterhealth.com or
Like,
whatever.
at least go let the female officer go talk to her for 1 minute.
Yeah, and then they get like chocolates and or whatever that was, and on their merry way. Gosh, man, gosh, oh, that's
it's just one more thing in this case. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, there's so many avenues with it. Look, I feel bad. I don't feel bad for the things that Laura has done. I feel bad that I really believe that there's something mentally broken inside of her. I want her to get help, and her mom is not helping. Her mom is perpetuating a lot of this stuff, feeding into her conspiracy theories. It's like the cult of Laura Owens over there.
Yeah,
and they believe they live in a universe of their own self-evident truths that is not based in reality, and that's where she's feeding off of it. At the beginning of the show, we were talking about David Gingras and the investigation going on with him. That should be wrapped up within a month, I'd imagine. A month or two has been going on since June. These things usually take 3 to 4 months to complete or come to a resolution. We should be on the lookout for the results of whatever is going to happen with Gingras. If you want my opinion, I don't think anything's going to happen to Gingras. I think that this overlaps with what Neil had complained about. They didn't do anything with Neil's complaint. I don't think they're going to do much with this one either, unless there's other stuff that's not in Dave's complaint that they haven't gone about. And to the extent that he has still continued to conduct himself in a way that's not up to their likings, then I just don't think they're going to do much, but I guess time will tell. One thing I'm looking forward to is this time they've at least asked for a written response. I don't think they asked for a written response with Dave's complaint.
I don't think so. Not at least in written form. There may have been a phone call or something like that, but
yeah, usually, I mean, I know especially in California, it's not really a serious complaint unless they ask for a written response from the attorney. Then it's like, all right, we got to do something. And so we can look forward. I'm assuming if this complaint got to me, I'd imagine that Dave's response is going to get to me somehow when it becomes made available to the person that wrote this complaint. So we'll see. Just know that Gingras is under some kind of investigation. I don't think that he's going to be fully absolved this time, or he may. But at the very least, he's going to get some kind of a hand slap. If not an outright suspension or some other form of discipline. We'll see.
Now, in your experience, when you've seen the bar actually disbar someone or sanction someone in a serious way, who is the complaint raised by? Is it raised by an opposing attorney, or is it raised by a client, or who is it raised by usually?
Every single time I've ever seen an attorney be disciplined, it's because of a complaint that was filed by a client of that attorney. I know that it happens. I know that judges sometimes make complaints against certain attorneys. Those are usually handled other ways. But when I've seen attorneys suspended, it's because they have somehow grossly mishandled cases of their attorneys. So this one is a complaint that's come from the general public, which is, what harm in that other than he made himself look like an ass, and under what authority is that professional misconduct? Well, this complaint outlined like 8 different ways about how that's professional misconduct with hundreds of pages of exhibits. And so are they going to do anything about it? I mean, if they don't do anything about it with this complaint, then they're just not gonna. So it was a well-written complaint and there's lots of evidence. I think that there's a lot of merit to it. I personally think that there's enough to do something. I'm just a little cautious in whether or not they're going to do anything because of how they handled Dave's complaint.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Do you have any sort of intuition about when we might see more, minute entries on the docket related to the post-ruling filings?
Oh, yeah. And within the next few weeks, I'd imagine.
Okay.
I don't think they've ruled on his motion to remove the judge yet, have they?
No.
Yeah. So I'd imagine that that's coming pretty quickly. But yeah, they're gonna trickle in. I don't think that they're gonna. I think within probably this month, if not early next month, they're gonna have some resolution on some of that stuff. I'm surprised they haven't ruled on it already, honestly. And I haven't seen any future hearings pending with respect to a reading of the rulings, which means it's just going to be released the way that they've been doing it over there.
Right on.
But all right, folks, that's all I got for you. Hey, Bruce, thanks for hanging out with me, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Hopefully we get all these rulings wrapped up before pumpkin spice latte season.
Oh, I'm so excited for Halloween, man.
Right?
I bought like this 13-foot Jack Skellington robot that I'm really excited about because my kids are gonna well, you know, I'm gonna turn my house into a haunted house. I'm gonna go all out for Halloween because these are the years to do it. My children are like 4 and 5, and so now was the years because when they get any older,
make a video tour for the channel here.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a hell of an idea, man. I'm gonna go out this year all out for Halloween and for Christmas, and so I'm gonna be pretty busy. But hey, man, thanks for hanging out with me. Hey, to the chat, I don't got time for chess night tonight. I thought I was gonna have some time, but I just don't. I ran out of time. It's 6:40. My wife's already gonna rip my ass because we're not gonna get home till like 7 or so. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for her. But anyway, thanks for hanging out. I will see you guys tomorrow on our normal Friday podcast. I think we're going to be talking about Alex Treviso, which is an interesting case in and of itself, but we will see that in Family Law After Dark, of course. Hey, Bruce, thanks, man. I appreciate you. For everybody else, I love you guys.
Anytime.
We will see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.